Good afternoon and welcome back to Fort Wayne on the Move with Councilwoman Michelle Chambers. I am super excited about the conversation that we're going to have today. The sun is shining, it's been raining, and what does that mean? The grass is growing. Now, the conversation is going to be a lot more than about growing grass. But today I have two incredible individuals here today from our Neighborhood Code Compliance Department. I have Chris Blavitt and Mecca Abdullah Jordan.
Correct.
How'd I do, y'all? Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Chris, you are Deputy Director of our Neighborhood Code Compliance.
Yes.
Right. And Mecca, you are the Administrator of Neighborhood Code Compliance. Correct. So oftentimes, fortunately or unfortunately, our community, they don't know anything about you all. And so I want to start our conversation off about, who are you, Chris? How long have you been with the city? What's your role at the city? And then when you're done, Chris, same question for you, Mecca. Okay. Then let's start with you, Chris.
So I started with Neighborhood Code in January of 2011. Been there 15 and a half years. I started as a code compliance officer or inspector. After a few years in that role, I moved to interim supervisor with some transition, then worked my way to field administrator and have been deputy director for the last 3.5 years.
Oh, really?
So previous to Neighborhood Code, I spent 25 years in the construction industry, both commercial and residential, as a superintendent, which feeds into the ordinances that we enforce.
Okay, 25 years prior, you did construction and left. I don't know if you're old enough for all of these years. Okay, I'm going to go with, I'm not asking your age. I would never do that. Okay.
I started at a very...
Yes. We're not going to say child labor or anything like that. You were just very...
Yes, very.
So Mecca, share with us what your role is at NCC as well.
I've actually served the community through Neighborhood Code for the last 23 years.
Okay, all right, 23. Were you a summer intern?
No, for 23 years.
Okay.
And I have been in various positions, so I have a comprehensive understanding of Neighborhood Code for being there so long. And I have a background, a master's in organizational leadership and supervision, and my undergrad is in business. So it's helping me in my current role as administrator for Neighborhood Code, where I've been overseeing the WEED program for the last 16 years.
Oh my God, the WEED program.
The WEED program.
The grass that's growing right now.
Correct.
Let's share the official start date of the, what is the program called? The WEED program.
It's called the WEED program.
It is the WEED program.
It is.
Maybe last month, possibly?
It did. So it began on Monday, May 18th, and that's when we began taking calls. And we stay active throughout the entire growing season. Mm-hmm. So we generally end around Halloween.
So what is the WEED program?
Well, we are governed under Chapter 100 nuisances, and it prohibits any property from having tall grass or high weeds that exceeds 9 inches. And it also prohibits any property from having the presence of any noxious vegetation, such as poison ivy, poison sumac, or something of that nature.
Wow. Chris, do you have an estimation of how many calls you take a year related to?
Last year, we posted just over 7,000 properties.
7,000?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not 700.
7,000.
Does that equate to 7,000 calls? How does this? Either one of you could take it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't always equate. It's 7,000 complaints. So we are proactive and reactive. So we respond to complaints that come through our 311 call center. In addition to, we task our weed inspectors with canvassing their territories, and they're searching for tall grass and high weeds.
So wait, to be fair, which territory? We'll say that one more time.
Okay, so let me give you a high-level overview of the weed program, if you like. Okay, we do have 8 part-time seasonal weed inspectors.
Seasonal
and part-time.
Okay.
So we have 8 of them. We've divided the city into 7 territories for the 8 inspectors. And the last inspector is tasked with going behind our contractors to ensure they're mowing to our specifications. So we make sure they're mowing correctly. So with that being said, since we do receive calls from the 311 call center, we also ask them to canvass those 7 territories, which is all of Fort Wayne. And we're also looking for tall grass and high weeds, which makes us proactive and reactive as well.
I see. So, Chris, I've noticed when you come down for the annual contracts, we've been pretty much in partnership with the same company. That the 2 or 3 contractors that you all have that
We currently have 2 contracts.
two,
Yes.
and you've been with the department for 11 years. Has it always been a contracted service that you recall?
Yeah, it's yearly. Anything that we contract are 3 areas that we contract. Seed are contractors for the whole year. Weeds is one of those. We do have some other contracts that we bid out. But yeah, they are set for the year. It's set pricing for the year, so everybody gets charged the same per area,
Yeah.
if you will. So
Yeah, and I've noticed the contracts have really remained pretty steady and consistent, considering everything is going up. I mean, that's good. So 7,000 last year. So tell us about the city's mowing program.
Okay, as mentioned, we have the 8 inspectors. We're proactive and reactive. So you can register your complaints with the 311 call center, or we're looking for the tall grass and high weeds as well.
So you actually look and speak up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, proactive and reactive. So we respond to the complaints that we're being given, and we also are searching for the tall grass and high weeds by driving through the neighborhoods and the cities of Fort Wayne to ensure everything remains nice and orderly. So when we do come across a property that does have tall grass and high weeds, we actually use a measuring tool. And we did have some pictures that we can illustrate the measuring process. We provided some pictures.
They'll be up on the screen.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
And once we determine that the property is in violation, they use a program called Field Maps that's on an iPad, and that captures all the data within the case. So they're going to put a placard in the property. It's going to have your address, the date the violation was noticed, and we're going to take pictures of the violation. So we have a complete case file. And with that being said, the very next business day, as a courtesy, it's not a requirement of code, but we want to go above and beyond by helping out the citizens. We do send a courtesy notice to abate to all the owners of record. And that's just saying also with the placard placed in the property that your property is in violation and you need to abate.
So because we have folks from all over watching the program, when you say abate, what does that mean for a layperson that's listening to this conversation?
Abate would be clean up. We need you to mow. We need you to treat the noxious vegetation on the property. So we need you to knock down the tall grass or high weeds, or we need you to spray or remove any poison ivy or poison sumac on your property. So that's what abate.
And how long, once you receive that notice, many days do they have the person in violation have to respond to the notice?
And if I can field that one?
Yes.
So per the ordinance, the grass should be mowed within a 5-day time frame, but we actually add a 2-day extension for everyone. So everyone gets a weekend. So today we're taping on a Wednesday. If properties were cited today, then it would be available for the contractors to inspect the following Wednesday. So you do have those 7 days in which to abate. And when our contractors do come and use the same application and they see the pictures previously taken by the weed inspector and they go inspect the property, if it is still in violation at that time, they're going to end up taking some before mowing pictures to reflect it is in violation. They're going to abate or mow or spray and treat the property.
Okay, let me walk through what I just took in.
Yes.
So total of 7 days to respond.
Correct.
Essentially, because there's a 2-day extension.
Correct.
If the vendor goes back out and the grass is still, is it 9 inches?
Exceeding 9 inches.
Exceeding 9 inches, then the vendor will go ahead and mow that particular property. All right. So they have to do the mow.
Correct. Or treat the noxious vegetation. And meaning they'll abate the property. They'll take pictures afterwards to show the how the property looks under their abatement. And that's the complete case file. And once we do have to mow, then an invoice is generated and forwarded on to the owner of record.
I see. I remember, Chris, a few years ago, you did a complete scrub, went through costs and fines, what it costs. On average, I can't remember, because I remember going through this whole packet with you. Is it like first offense, second offense, third offense, if you're having this situation reoccur?
Each property is measured by square footage, which is a bid set price.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have some properties that we mow 2 and 3 times, sometimes 4 times through the season. Those are the same price throughout.
But will the cost go to the person who's violated?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does go to the property owner. Plus, we add an added admin fee to that invoice.
Okay. I understand that. is there a mechanism in place that do we have repeat offenders that happen every season?
We do.
Go preventative department.
We do. We have repeat offenders, but whether it's a first offense or there's a repeat offender, regardless if the city has to step in and intervene and abate the property, a fine is going to be generated and forwarded on. But we're looking for the owners to mow the property. It makes life easier for everyone if the property is abated by the owner of record or the tenant, etc. But on the other hand, we're talking about fines. If the owner abates the property prior to the contractor's arrival, the case is closed. No fine is issued. So if they abate within that 7-day time frame, case is closed.
So the case is closed. Did it leave the system?
Well, it'll leave the system, but it closes and no fine is attached to that particular case.
So sometimes people look at neighborhood code as a bad thing, but it really isn't. It's really about creating quality of life in neighborhoods for all neighborhoods, would you say?
Yeah.
Why it's critically important that we have a neighborhood code?
It's very important. It allows for clean, safe, healthy environment, the appearance of the neighborhood. It's the quickest, easiest tool we have to eliminate blight. You drive down the street and you see properties that have tall grass and or high weeds, and you look at it because it stands out, and you could have manicured yards next door. Neighborhood code is an option to use to make your neighborhood a little safer, a little nicer.
So if someone has a neighbor that they feel are 9 inches taller, is that a 311 call, or how do they handle that if you wanted to share that you think that your neighbor...
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad you asked that question, because one of my favorite quotes is by the Dalai Lama. It's be kind whenever possible, and it's always possible. I would say reach out to your neighbor. You know, if you live next door to someone and this is an odd time because their grass is higher and it's never like that, reach out to them, check on them, offer your assistance. So if that doesn't work, because that does build strong communities and make for a closer, tighter knit neighborhood if you're all looking out for one another. But if that's not an option, you can always call 311, report it, and have the city intervene. But of course, you have to have the correct address when you're making that submission.
Yeah, I would say that. It's interesting too that you have a mechanism. So I keep saying 11 years, like the technology must have advanced for this. How did you used to do, what is this mechanism that you know? I'm stuck on this knowledge and an iPad. I'm glad for technology advancement, but what did you all do?
Paper, everything calling into the office. We didn't have any electronic devices, so they're calling my desk and asking, can you look on the GIS map? There's a sequence of 6 vacant lots. I need you to tell me the addresses starting west. It was a lot of work. And now that we have this new system called Field Maps that we've been using since 2018, it streamlined it tremendously. And it even increased the weed inspector's ability to cite more properties.
That's good. You know, technology can be our friend.
When it's working.
When it's working.
It works.
I used to tell my students, technology is not perfect. It is not perfect. So, yeah. So how does the program really affect the community as a whole? Do you think it has the opportunity to unify the community? Does it ever cause division? Well, what do you think?
As Mecca stated before, and obviously I let Mecca take all the weed questions because she is a rock star. I have no worries about the program running.
Yeah.
So that being said, we promote the word neighbor is in neighborhood, right? So check on your neighbors, see why they have a medical condition. It could be you can have a young entrepreneur in the neighborhood that goes around and mows yards. So
my brothers used to.
Yeah. I had a number of them when I was a child too.
Yeah.
But the importance of it is when you let long grass grow or weeds or noxious vegetation, it on a windy day, if trash is blowing around, it's a catch-all. All right. So you get the accumulation of trash and debris. It also provides harborage for rodents, insects that affect neighboring properties. So, we want to keep the lawns trimmed, nice, neat, and to today's standards and the ordinance standards, but it looks bad. You drive down the road and you like Mecca stated, what catches your eye? It's that 1 yard with the long grass.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, it does affect neighboring property.
So we've talked a lot about the weed program, right? But what else does neighborhood code oversee besides the weed program?
I don't think we can cover it all. However, I would like to focus on vehicles parked on unapproved surface.
Oh my God, can we please?
Yes. So we use the catchphrase parking on grass. However, parking on unapproved surface, that includes mulch beds, that includes muddy yards that have no grass. Your approved surfaces are hard surfaces, stone, asphalt, concrete, solid pavers. Each one of those surfaces has to connect to a right-of-way to be legally parked on.
So explain right-of-way for our viewing audience who may not have a clear understanding of the right-of-way.
Right-of-way is defined as street, alley, sidewalk.
Okay.
So now, not to say that we want to have a driveway connected to a sidewalk, but typically you drive over the sidewalk to get to the street.
Right.
Yeah.
So if an individual, I'm visualizing you have a long driveway, you can't have you have 4 cars stacked. Yeah. You can't cover that sidewalk, right? Or
correct.
Okay. Folks, our viewing audience should understand that because sometimes it's like, this is my driveway.
Right.
I can park right here.
But it still is a public sidewalk.
It's a public sidewalk. So we can't stack cars like that.
Nope.
And I've also noticed that people who have, when you hitch things up to a truck, trailers, they'll just leave them there. But there is a limitation, right, for how long you can have a trailer on the street or parked in the street?
So parking control handles everything on public property.
Oh.
Okay. Neighborhood code is on private property.
That's a good clarifier. Okay.
So if there is a car parked in the street illegally that's hooked to a trailer that hasn't moved in 24 hours, that will go to parking.
That's parking.
Yes. So when it is on private property, then yes, that comes to neighborhood code. Now, as far as trailers go, the limitations are 22 feet tongue to tail and 7'6" wide. So
I gotta know these. I'm bigger than.
it would be a long double axle trailer.
Okay.
Now,
so you literally just can't keep a trailer in your front yard, can you?
well, you can't keep anything in the yard.
Well,
You're not supposed to park anything in the yard.
just,
Right.
but it's my property, but you can't. I'm just,
Yeah, we do get that a lot. It's my property.
yeah, I'm playing devil's advocate here so people understand.
It is in the ordinance that nothing can be parked in the yard. Okay, it has to be on an approved surface. Now, there are some provisions for recreational vehicles, like campers tend to exceed the size limit. However, if it's parked on an approved surface, residential area, it's considered a recreational vehicle. That's allowed.
Okay. So we do weeds. If you're on public property access, you can't cover that.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. What else is something that you do in the neighborhood? Okay.
Oh, well, as I stated before, my previous work history, we have chapters 150 and 152. Chapter 150 is commercial minimum standards, and chapter 152 is residential minimum standards. Basically, those two ordinances state.
And an ordinance basically is law for our viewing audience.
Correct. Yeah, local law. Yeah.
Local law.
It is all derived from International Property Maintenance Code, and we are guided by the Indiana Unsafe Building Law. So that being said, if you look at those two codes, we have a number of violations where your property has to be kept to a minimum maintenance standard. Now, when I say minimum, it might not be work that I do or any other do at a higher level. It is a minimum standard. So we get complaints in just through 311, through emails from neighborhood associations that we attend, and we go out and we inspect the property. If we find violations, we'll send the property owner a notice of violation that states that they have 60 days to bring the property into compliance, or they can get into a work plan to request more time. One of the things that we pride in neighborhood code is if you get a notice and you call us, we're going to work with you. I would rather have somebody spend $350 on materials for their house than go through our process and pay a $350 fine.
What's a few violations that maybe a person wouldn't even realize that they're in violation of for a code standard for a house?
Lack of insect screening in windows,
Wow.
lack of house numbers.
Who knew?
Yeah. Well, think about house numbers. All right. If your house catches fire, you have a medical emergency, and you don't have house numbers, it's not really easy to find.
This is true.
So, cleaning your gutters, all the way to foundation collapses, roof deterioration. So it covers a lot.
And it really is to help the owner of the home or the renter of the home. Quality of neighborhood.
Yeah.
Making sure the grass is cut.
Yeah.
Making sure our homes, are in a livable standard, a minimal
Right.
livable standard,
Yes.
essentially. So it's not about being a bad neighbor. It's really about keeping the neighborhoods beautiful.
Yeah.
And we just have the mechanisms to help individuals to keep the neighborhood.
Yeah. I mean, we want to see people have pride in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
Pride in the property that you live in. When you get into the rundown houses and things like that, I mean, we can even elevate all the way up to a demolition order. If the structure is unsafe.
And I'm sure you
Not
probably
that-
saved some lives of folks that were possibly living in a home that probably should not have residents living in there.
Yeah, those, if anybody's watched the news or seen scenes that, police were out or fire was out, and you see the big condemned signs with the red lettering and the big placard, that's us.
Yeah. I think something that's worthy of sharing is that fines are involved. Absolutely. But this is not a revenue generating opportunity for the city. It really is about keeping our neighborhoods beautiful.
Yeah.
And the fines are a way just to enforce and to encourage that you just keep your grass nice, you keep your home nice as well.
Yeah, and through the legal process, I mean, we cannot force anybody to fix their property.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not going to do anything and maybe turn their nose at us, then the fining process, that's all we have.
So grass, houses, how you park, where you park. What else do you do in neighborhood code? Is there anything else?
Well, so there's actually two different ordinances that deal with vehicles. Okay, so Chapter 72 deals with vehicles, both everything the parking control and police does, and we use 72.23 for private property. The other vehicle violations are Chapter 90.02 under the Indiana Unsafe or Abandoned Vehicle Act. 90.02, if you have a junk, wrecked, dismantled, up on jacks, non-operable vehicle on the property, it is illegal to store that for more than 20 days. So we will go out, we'll put a 20-day sticker on it. If the car, we go back and we usually give 21 to 22 days.
Mm-hmm.
When we go back out, if the car hasn't moved or the owner has not shown it operable, then we will tow that vehicle off the property. So nuisances, both vehicles, 150, 152, that's what we do.
I see. So Mecca, who knew that grass could be something that it could be a violation, Because again, it's also a safety prevention as well. Would you say for fires and things of that nature, because it could get a little high,
Especially in the dead of summer when everything's dry. You want to make sure the yard's mowed. Anything catches on fire, that's going to light up very quickly. So it is a safety precaution as well.
And oftentimes we don't think about, all we get focused in on is the fine. But it really is about beautification and keeping our neighborhoods safe and clean, that everybody, our kids can play safely, our seniors can walk safely, and everybody can be safe.
Correct.
Neighborhood pride is critically important.
It is.
But for both of you, if there's anything that you would want our viewing audience to better understand about neighborhood code, what is one thing you would like for people to understand?
I would love for them to know that we root for compliance and not for enforcement. There's a lot of paperwork, a lot of time, and a lot of effort to go and enforce a violation. But when an owner brings it into compliance, that is a winning day for everyone. And that's what we look forward to.
Chris, how would you add?
Well, I will fully agree. And, compliance is our main goal. And, if we're not unapproachable. If you get a violation that is sent to your house or tagged on your vehicle, or call us. Conversation and communication is the key when it comes to these things. We have so many policies and procedures in place that if you show the effort to come to compliance, you can get more time. We can avoid those fines. And it saves us a little time too from preparing hearings and things like that. So compliance, just call us. If you get a notice, call us.
I love this. It's customer service. It's the customer first. We're here to prevent and to work with, right?
Correct.
So, I just wanted to thank you both. 11 years, 25 years of being in the trenches of dealing with customers. And sometimes customers can be mean, but I will say that you all have, I feel, a stellar reputation, because I've had been a property owner, and I got a violation, and you all worked with me every step of the way. And that was another reason that I really wanted to have this conversation with you today. So people aren't afraid of the violation, because we definitely are not here to, break the bank. We just want to make sure our neighborhoods are beautified. So thank you for all of the work that you do for our constituents and do for our cities to make sure that our neighborhoods are nice.
You're most welcome.
Thank you for having us on so we can get the word out of a kinder neighborhood code.
Yes, and they can locate you at the engagement page, or go directly to neighborhood.
We prefer directly to neighborhood code. We do have an engaged page for the weed program. We're working on another just generalized page and on Engage.
Just very accessible. Just get on the computer, type in neighborhood code, and all the questions can be answered in there.
Yep. And if you choose the easiest route, call 311 and say, I want to talk to neighborhood code.
Okay. But I like the idea that you still talk to people on the phone, so that's great. I'm not saying not call 311, but your department is very customer service oriented.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when I used to go in there, I would ask questions, get the answers, and we were good to go.
Good.
So thank you, and thank you for just working with the city and having an amazing department. I really appreciate you both.
Thank you.
Okay. So today, I hope that you all have learned something new. Neighborhood Code is about keeping our neighborhoods beautiful. They are here to help you. They are here to assist you. If for some reason you do get a code violation, take care of it. Call, and they can help you figure it out. So until next time, be well, be blessed, and we'll see you next month. Thank you.